This is Robert and Michelle Wallace coming to you guys live from the wonderful Mecca of Flower Mound, Texas, which is just outside the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And we're really, really excited to have an opportunity to address everybody with Envita today. And you know, it's always an honor, it's always a privilege to be able to do so. We were asked by Philip, who is, I believe he's actually on the line. He may not join us, or he may join us. Feel free to jump in if you do. I know he was supposed to be traveling and in meetings, but I think he may possibly get a chance to jump on at some point in time. But if not, you guys have Michelle and I for the afternoon. And we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about what it takes to truly, truly be successful with Envita and get an actual fast start. You know, whenever you do anything, you know, if you're going to do it and be successful, you know, you really have to start quickly and give yourself momentum. Unlike, well, at least when you start your own business, let's say it that way. Because, you know, usually when you start a job, you go through training, and then they, you know, sit you beside somebody, and somebody shows you the ropes, and it goes, and it kind of moves slow. And the first few days, few weeks even, can be actually kind of boring. So, you know, what we want to do is help you guys understand what it takes to truly, truly start your business, and start your business fast. You know, because you've got to create that momentum, as I said. So, you know, now, you know, everybody comes and you see Envita. You know, you see it through an opportunity meeting, or maybe you you know, were introduced one-on-one by a friend or by somebody that you know that's actually in the business, maybe a business acquaintance. You know, and you take a look at it, and you sit down, and you hear from Tim, or you hear from Philip, or you hear from Ralph, or Michelle, or myself, or one of the leaders, Bobby, somebody that's an incredible leader. You know, we have several of them. You know, there's Rick out in I believe Rickston, California, and you know, we've got just tons and tons and tons of incredible leaders that are building their businesses, and you get excited. You get excited. You're like, wow, okay, you know, they're going to hire me. They're going to bring me on board. I got to get my license, and I have to do all these different things, you know, and you know, you get going, you get excited, and then you know, you're contracted where you can actually do something, and then what? You know, it kind of slows down. You're kind of swimming in a sea of confusion. You know, you're told, okay, let me write a policy on myself, write a policy on my family members, and we do that, and then what? Well, you know, folks, one of the things we want to talk to you guys about is let's put some meat on the bones. You know, we're going to help you put some meat on the bones, and we're going to talk to you, as I said, about what it takes to really get your business off the ground, you know, and off the ground quickly. You know, I'm sure everybody on the call has probably flown on an airplane at one point in time or another. You know, the only time once you get on that plane that and the door closes, that the plane moves slow, is when it's taxiing to get to the runway. And you know, that's kind of like your licensing stage, you know, maybe even the contracting stage. But once you get past that, folks, it's time to rev your engines, and it's time to get moving. You know, planes take off at about 150 to 200 miles per hour. So, you know, we've got to get your business moving at that speed so that you can launch yourself into the air and be successful, so you don't crash and burn and fail. And why Robert and Michelle Wallace? Why are you guys listening to us? Why has Philip Hudgens, who we all know is a giant in this industry and has been wildly successful for many, many, many years, made multiple millions of dollars. He has a home bigger than some, you know, public schools, folks. Why are you guys listening to Robert and Michelle Wallace? Good question. I'm glad you asked it. Here's the reason why. You know, we both have been in the financial services industry for well over a combined 44 years. We cut our teeth in the industry back in the mid-90s. I was a banker managing mortgage professionals, managing real estate professionals, managing the bankers in the branch, managing the financial consultants that were managing people's money. So I have run that side of the business as well, where I kind of watched and protected people's money. Michelle started out running a broker-dealer. She was a principal for a broker-dealer. So she was on the side of the house where they were investing people's money and managing people's money and watching the market go up and down and all around. You know, in this particular industry, in the market that we're in now, the life insurance, simplified issue, specialty marketplace, we have a combined 22 years of experience in this industry and in this particular segment. Why, you know, what does that mean? Well, you know, Philip said the other day on a call, success leaves clues. You know, and we talk about that. Folks, success leaves clues. When we first got into the business, we saw a successful path to follow in Ralph Simpson, who came on board into this industry after being wildly successful in his own businesses in his own right as well, making multiple millions of dollars in other industries, and we followed his blueprint. We followed his plan, and that plan gave us predictable results. So that's what we want to talk to you guys today about is what does it really take to get your business off the ground and off the ground quickly. As I said, we've been in this industry, this particular segment, for well over 20 years combined, folks, and I can tell you that you know, yes, we've made multiple millions of dollars in this industry as well. And I can tell you that you're in the right place at the right time with the right people and the right company. Philip has put together a company that is second to none, and it's not just Philip. I mean, there's other folks that have played key roles, but it's been his vision, and his vision is born out of things that have happened to all of us in the past. You know, and so, you know, I can tell you that we came back into the business with Philip here at Envita because of the fact that we've never experienced in the insurance industry more success than when we were all together in the past. So now we're in the present, moving towards the future. We've got the right players, the right model, the right everything so that you can prosper now and in the future. But what does it take so that you can get to that point where you prosper? Glad you asked. I'm going to turn the call over to start now with my wife, Michelle. Honey, if you would, why don't you take it away and get it started, and I'll jump in and let's talk to the Envita world about what it takes to get off the ground fast and stay in the air without crashing and burning in our industry.
Absolutely. Well, good afternoon. Thank you, each and every one of you, for making the decision to think about your business, to focus on your business, to decide how you can take this opportunity and make it the most tremendous opportunity you've been in yet, because as Robert said, we do have an incredible open opportunity, but it's only as good as you know how to work it. So I'm going to jump right in. I know it's important. We want to make this time very valuable, very focused, and how to get a fast start is a very important business, because if you don't get started, you don't make money. So we got to get started. Obviously, many of you know the first requirement is getting someone licensed and registered so that they have all the credentials to say they know this language, they know this industry, this business, to be able to go out. And, you know, that's very important. It is important that you understand the overall fiduciary responsibility that you have in this business, making sure that you take care of people and do the right thing for them. And that's exactly what Envita has done. It's in order to make sure you are a success. They have gotten you the right tools in the toolbox that you can use to take care of anyone and be able to put them in a better situation. Again, we are dealing with life and death, guys, and guess what? We have solutions for both. And so the good news is you have the opportunity to change one's life and those that they love and care about. But how do you go out and make sure that you get started? I think one question that many people ask over and over is, why are some people successful and others are not? That question's been asked millions of times, and you hear many different answers. Some consider, you know, successful people get better opportunities. Well, okay, all of us here today, each one of you and I, have the same opportunity right now today. People who do not succeed have bad backgrounds. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe education makes all the difference. They didn't have enough or they had too much. Failure results from bad breaks. Maybe that's, you know, it's just a bad break. I can't be successful because I just keep having things happen to me. Some people say, you know, they're smarter than others, you know, so that's why they're successful. Some people think it's because lazy people just don't succeed. Well, you know, I think we all heard some of these excuses, and we've all heard some of these as reasons to make a difference. But successful people think differently than unsuccessful people. So let me just start there. It's how we think. And it's so important, and you know it, and I know it, but we have to still think upon the things that we're going to make happen. What type of thinking do you believe will increase your odds for success with Envita? Is it going to be small thinking or big picture thinking? Is it going to be scattered thinking or focused thinking? What kind of thinking did you do this morning when you woke up? Was it scattered or was it focused? Was it restrictive thinking or are you being creative in your thinking? Was it fantasy thinking? Are you just dreaming or are you realistically thinking? Okay, I know I'm using this word a lot, but I want to make sure this emphasis comes through. Is it random thinking or strategic thinking? Do you have limited thinking or possibility thinking? Do you have impulsive thinking? Are you impulsive or are you reflective? Popular thinking or is it innovative thinking? Are you doing solo thinking or are you doing shared thinking? Selfish thinking or is it unselfish thinking? Wishful thinking or are you a bottom line thinker? If you're currently not successful or you're not at the success you want to be, it may be because you're not thinking about the way you're going to get to the top. You have to place yourself on that pathway of success. And so there's some things you can look at and some things we can consider. Let me give you, I know I'm a little slow on my start here, but I have 5 things for you to already be thinking about, so I know that I put you in some good thinking. Everything does begin with a thought. I think we all believe that, know and understand that. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, life consists of what a man is thinking about all day. What we think about determines who we are. Who we are determines what we do. The actions of men are the best interpreters of their thoughts. John Locke. Our thoughts determine our destiny. Our destiny determines our legacy. Powerful. You are today where your thoughts have brought you so far, guys. You will be tomorrow where your thoughts will take you. James Allen. People who go to the top think differently than others. Nothing limits achievement like small thinking. Nothing ends your achievement like small thinking. Say it a different way. Nothing expands your possibilities like unleashed thinking. William Arthur Ward. We can change the way we think. And from Paul the Apostle, whatever things are true, noble, just, pure, lovely, are of good report, if there is any virtue, and if there is anything praiseworthy, think on these things. So again, I know this is so basic, and it's something we hear, and it's something that we know, but we have to get to the point where we really will put it into use for who we are and where we are. Okay, things are more like they are now than they ever were before. Dwight D. Eisenhower. One more. All right. What one thing do all successful people have in common? One thing separates those who go to the top from those who never seem to get there. And the answer is good thinking. Those who embrace good thinking as a lifestyle understand the relationship between their level of thinking and their level of progress. To change your life, you must change your thinking. I'm sure many of you have experienced different things that you wanted to accomplish, and you had to sometimes rethink the way you approached it. And it's so true. Changing from negative to positive thinking isn't always easy. We can't just say, okay, Michelle, well, I can't just change the way I'm thinking, especially if you have a difficult time with doing change anyway. For some, it is a lifelong struggle. Do you know that most people's #1 challenge is when it comes to making positive personal changes? It's their feelings. If you're willing to change your thinking, you can change your feelings. If you change your feelings, you can change your actions. If you change your actions based on good thinking, you can change your life. Envita is about being successful. So what do we do to get there? How do we get there? One of the reasons people don't achieve their dreams is that they desire to change their results without changing their thinking. You can't get something different doing the same things. Progress is often just one idea away. You have to make it something that you can put out. You have to first of all decide what it is you're going to achieve. Unsuccessful people tend to focus on thinking on survival. Are you thinking about just surviving? Average people focus on their thinking on maintenance. Are you just trying to maintain? But successful people focus on thinking on progress, even if it's small. Each day we have to work at being a better person. I know I wake up and hope to do something better, something different, something new, something creative, and I'm not a creative person. I have to physically think about making sure I'm doing something to be creative. 95% of achieving anything is knowing what you want and paying the price to get it. So number one in launching your business is, do you know what you want? Do you want to be an individual producer that's at the top? Okay, great. Do you want to be an individual producer that, just earns $10,000 a month? If you want to be an individual producer that, continues to just grow and work with people because that's what you enjoy, do that. If you want to be an agency manager, you have to figure out who is like-minded and is going to grow and build and see an opportunity and be able to grow in their thinking as well. You need all the thinking pieces to become the kind of person who can achieve great things. Those pieces are usually broken in to a few different things. Number one, seeing the wisdom of the big picture thinking. Obviously Philip Hudgens, Ralph Simpson, they both come to mind right away. They are big picture thinking. They put together big product, big opportunity, big system in place for you to be able to get to your success, which in turn will bring us all into a success. Unleashing the potential of focused thinking is important. When I think about someone who's very focused, I'm sure most of you have had the opportunity to talk to and meet Bobby or hear Bobby at some point. Bobby White is very focused. You can tell he's very intent on the things that have to be done. He does the details, and not all of us are good at those. You have to discover the joy of being a creative thinker, coming up with new products, new opportunities. Tim's always having new levels for you to go to, new achievements, new short-term goals to get to your overall long-term goal. As a builder, as a leader, you have to be creative, recognizing the importance of realistic thinking. Okay, you've got to be realistic. If you've never done $10,000 in production in a week, make that your first goal. That was always our first hurdle for any individual brand new producer coming into this business. 10,000 in annualized production in 1 week. If you haven't achieved that yet, write that down. That's how you're going to get a fast start. Get started. Ralph Simpson, I remember when I got started in this business, gave that as a goal, that everybody gets started there. You have to have it written down, think about it, focus on it, be creative, and make it realistic. Releasing the power of strategic thinking. How are you going to go about getting that 10,000 in production? Is it going to take 20 appointments? Is it going to take 30 leads? Is it going to take 30 referrals? Is it going to take 30 contacts, 30 networks? Whatever it takes to get to your, 10,000 in production. I'll tell you, on average, if you're brand new, just starting this business, let's say I always say you can do at least 50% of everyone you see in business. So that might make 20 appointments in 1 week for you to get to your first 10,000. If you're brand new, I'd say that's a good goal. Hit 20 appointments. Get there. Are you embracing the lessons of reflective thinking? Do you go back and evaluate what you did? I can't tell you how many dreams I had when I got started in this business over and over. Not dreams, maybe call them nightmares. In other words, I was in my sleep and I was going over and over my appointment, what I did or didn't do or say to emphasize the importance of them taking care of their family now. Get the emotion. You know, it's so funny. I got a chance to work with Cammie last week. Boy, oh my gosh, you could tell her and Philip are in one, because it was all about passion and finding out their emotion. And it is important, because you have to connect with your people, because it has to be of good thinking for them too, and what they want and their possibilities. Are you questioning the acceptance of popular thinking? Are you thinking you can't do it because everybody else says you can't do it? Or are you thinking you can do it because you can go above and beyond? Are you participating in shared thinking? Are you getting on the calls? Are you going to the meetings? You guys are. You know what the value is. You know where you're at. So you get and you learn from other people's experiences. It doesn't matter how long you've been in this business. You might have just got licensed last week. Congratulations, you made a good thinking choice already. You're here. You're learning. You're picking up value of 40-some years of experience that I can share with you in a few minutes. Participation in shared thinking is important because it helps us grow and build and learn from other people's successes, even more than their mistakes. I like to stay in the success thinking. Have you experienced satisfaction of unselfish thinking? Are you enjoying the return of bottom line thinking? I ask these questions in general because it's about how are you thinking about your business? Are you thinking on a daily basis? Are you thinking on a weekly basis what you need to do? Are you thinking about the fact it's the 23rd of June? What time do you have left to meet your monthly goal you set out for on June 1 for your accomplishment? Where are you for your year? Do you have more months to make up? If you're just now starting, you can still make a year's projected income between now and the end of year, but it takes focus, it takes direction, it takes time. So we have many types of thinking that successful people, these are all the main key things you'll hear from successful people and what they do. The 5 people that I gave you quotes from, actually 6, were all very successful people in their own right. Some in art, some in writing, some in business, some in architecture, some in running a country. I'm talking to you about running your opportunity here at Envita. I know that when we got started, we had to have some goals. And I know people ask you to do it, but have you really written them down? Have you really looked at them? I know they're part of your success steps, but let's be real. Some of us just think, okay, I got it in my mind. Hey, there's distractions in this world. Did you know that? There are things that come up, they get you off track. You've got to get back onto focus and be direct. If you're serious about being successful in this business, you have to show success and focus into your thinking and what you're going to do to be there. I'm now going to turn it right back over to you, Robert Wallace, because I know you have the thoughts on how we get started in making those daily successes, those weekly successes, those monthly successes, and making sure we get that fast start.
Woo! All right, I love it. Hey, thank you, honey. And I'll tell you what, you know, that's some good stuff you're talking about there. I could listen to that all day long because you know what? It does start with your mind. You got to get your mind prepared. It's kind of like a farmer, you know. A farmer and the ground is his soil, but you know what, you can't just go and throw a bunch of seeds in the ground and hope that they're going to grow. You have to prepare that soil. You've got to, you know, turn it over. You have to get it, you know, fertilized. You have to get the soil ready to accept that seed. And so, you know, you've fertilized our minds now. You kind of have us, you know, in a very short period of time. You've given us something that I hope everybody really paid attention to, because I know a lot of people go, oh, you know, I'm sick of the rah-rah. I'm tired of all of the hype, and I'm tired of all the positive stuff. You know, I need some meat and potatoes. I need some nut and bolts. Well, you know what, folks, I'm going to tell you something. If your mind isn't ready, if you don't believe in yourself, if you haven't done the things that Michelle just talked about, you know, and get your mind right and surrounding yourselves with the right people and putting the right thoughts in it on a daily basis, then it doesn't matter how many nuts and bolts we give you, you're not going to know what wrench, what ratchet, you know, or what screwdriver or anything to use to make it work. So, you know, you have to plug in to these different things that we talk about, you know, reading, listening to, you know, someone positive, you know, reading positive affirmations, getting off of fake book. Yeah, I said fake book, not Facebook. Get off of fake book where, you know, everybody's just spewing hate and everything else. Focus on your business. So, you know, we talk a lot about, you know, the why, you know, and I think people think, you know, oh, they're just trying to get me to get emotional. No, we're not trying to get you to get emotional, but we are trying to get you to tap into your reason for being here, because we know that the business can be tough. And if you don't know why you're here, if you don't know why you've chosen to link with Envita and lock our arms with Philip and Michelle and myself and Ralph and Tim and all the other leaders, then your stay is going to be short-lived, because as soon as you have that rough day, as soon as your children are upset because you had to give more time to a client and your business than you did to them for whatever reason, or, you know, when your spouse is upset, they've had a rough day and they're needing you, you know, there, and you weren't necessarily able to be there because you were out on an appointment at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. You need to know why you're doing it. You have to be able to remember that. So that's why we talk about the why. That's why we want you to tap into the why, because you know what? Everybody goes into business for a reason. If you wanted to start a shoe store, you'd have to have a why. Either you enjoy making shoes or you enjoy repairing shoes. But I can tell you what, when people bring their smelly, stinky shoes in to you, you know, and it smells like that they've been walking through a lake for the last 30 years, you better know why you're in that business or you're not going to enjoy it. So the same thing is here. You know, you have to know why you've decided to do this. And yeah, most of us, it comes down to, hey, this sounds like a way that I could make a great living. I could be self-sufficient. I could be on my own financially. I can build my own business that has residuals. You know, Envita says that I'll own my own agency after I have time invest, and I can sell it in the future, you know, for a profit. So we all have, you know, our whys. It's our family, it's our kids, it's our neighbor, it's ourself, or it's my dad died too soon and left us without. There's all sorts of reasons, but the underlying bottom line reason is we all want to make a great income to be able to take care of our families and to be able to move forward into the future and to be able to hopefully retire at some point in time. So, you know, what's next, all right? You know, here comes your nuts and bolts. When, you know, Wesley Trammell always likes nuts and bolts. So, Wesley, pick up your pen. I'm watching you. Pick up your pen, pick up that yellow pad that's next to it, and start getting ready to write, okay? Number one thing that you have to do is you've got to start with a vision. You have to start with a vision. And what does that mean? You have to know how much money make. What is it? What amount of money is it that you need your first month, your first year in this business in order for you to not have to go backwards in life, back into corporate America, or go, you know, pull back from this and go looking for something else? Okay? So the first thing you need to do is determine how much is it that I realistically need to make to stay in business. Okay? Not to stay in Envita, not to stay involved, you know, and that's the other thing I want to talk to you guys about too is you know, get some of the words mean things, like Michelle said. You know, if you just joined Envita or if you're involved in Envita, you've got to cross that line to being committed to Envita. You have to cross the line into believing that you are Envita, not that Philip's Envita, not that Bobby's Envita, not that Debbie's Envita, and they're my friends, so I'm going to do this with them, but you are Envita, and you've got to commit to that so that you know, it's your vision, but your vision is a part of Envita's vision. Otherwise, your stay here will be short. You'll get distracted. You know, maybe the person that brought you, you know, in front of Envita has gone on to go and you know, they passed another flower, and that flower smelled better than they thought, so they've moved on, and now they're, you know, doing God only knows what around the world and selling filters, or who knows what it is that they're doing. But if you're not committed, okay, then you will be easily distracted, okay? It's almost like a brand new plant. Right now, you're brand new. Everybody on this call, for all intents and purposes, you know, is brand new. Even if you've been here a while, you're still in a very vulnerable state if you're not making the kind of money that you dream about or that's in your mind. And so until you commit to your own vision, nothing's going to happen. So first thing is first is write down and take a moment and write down, what is it going to take for me? How much do I need to make? For a lot of us, you know, if you're making, you know, bringing home $3,000 a month, okay, so you at least need to be at that level if you're going to be full-time in this business. If you're going to be part-time in this business, I'd say you need to be at least a third of that, if not a half of that, okay, in order for you to really see this business become real, in order for you to own it, okay, because this is your business. You were hired, not recruited. You were hired by the person that brought you, you know, to Envita. And so you have a responsibility to that person to be a great business partner / employee. Even though you're not technically their employee, you kind of are. You're part of their agency. And you have a responsibility to make sure that you hold up your end of the bargain, just like they have a responsibility to hold up their end of the bargain. And we'll talk about that, okay? So, you know, make sure you know how much it is that you want to make, and then break that thing down to a bite-sized morsel. Some of us may say, well, shoot, I need to, you know, I might be Denny Fairclough, and I might need to make, you know, $220,000 a year. Okay, so I need to take that, I need to break that down into a monthly goal, into a monthly figure. And then I need to break that down even to a weekly figure, and then I need to figure out, okay, can I do this on my own pen? And if so, what's that look like on a daily basis? What does that look like if I have a team? Okay? And so, you know, once you've broken that goal down, now you have to make sure that you've got your vision, you've got it broken down. Now, what do you do next? Well, you have to prepare, folks, okay? Preparation. And this is the part that everybody wants someone else to do for them. No one really wants to do this for themselves. You know, and part of it is training. You know, again, I'm going to use Wesley as an example. Wesley wants the nuts and bolts, okay? And I'm going to tell you guys, if you ever come to me wanting some mentorship or wanting some coaching, I can almost promise you the same thing will be true with Philip, same thing's going to be true with Ralph, same thing is going to be true with any of the leaders in this company that know what they're doing, that are really, really ready to mentor you. If you come to them with a question about a product, okay, they're going to laugh, and I'm going to use myself as an example, okay? One of the things that you need to make sure that you do as part of your preparation is you need to make sure you're on every training call. If you miss one, you need to go in the back office, you need to listen to the recording. Case in point, I called Philip yesterday with a question about Manhattan Life that he talked about on the call on Sunday. But guess what? I was with my dad. Okay, that was my excuse, which I shouldn't, I mean, I was with my dad all day. I could have taken the time out and should have taken the time out to be on that call. But I called my, one of my mentors, my leader, my partner, with a question about it, and his first words out of his mouth after he laughed, he's like, well, you just told on yourself. You weren't on the call because I addressed all that on the call. And I laughed. I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. You know, because we have a very honest and open relationship. I don't hide anything from Philip. I didn't try to make excuses and say, oh, well, I was on it, Philip, but my call dropped, or I had bad static, or this or that. I didn't make it excuses. I owned it. I wasn't there. I wasn't prepared properly for what I needed to do. So, you know, folks, you start with the training, okay? You've got to make sure that you go and you get trained. Now, there's also something else that you've got to do. You know what? If there's something that you can learn on the Envita website, if there's something that you can go on the carrier's website and learn about the product, do that. Don't expect your leader to sit down with you and talk to you about the issue ages of a policy. Don't expect your leader to sit down with you and talk to you about the underwriting guidelines, when those are documents that you can download and learn. Don't expect your leader to download your product software for you. Okay, those are all things you should do on your own. Now, if you've been playing with the software and you just don't get it, there's two things to do. Pick up the phone and call the carrier first, if the carrier is available, and make sure that the carrier walks you through it. Okay, why? It's because you need to make certain that you know where your resources are so that you can be a self-sustaining entity, okay, that you can be a resource, if you will, for the company with others, so that if you build your own agency, you know the answer when people come to you, and you can maybe shorten their learning curve, but at least you know. Always try to figure it out yourself before you go to your mentor and your leader. There's one of you, but in your little scope of things, but your leader may have 15 of you. And so if 15 of you are calling your leader at the same time, they can only take one call at a time. So learn what training that you can go and do with the carrier so that you can know what training to go to your mentor for, because your leader, your manager, your mentor should be the person that's role-playing with you on how to set an appointment, role-playing with you on how to run an appointment. You shouldn't be asking your leader, well, let me ask you this, can we sit down, I need some help learning to fill out an application. Print the doggone thing out yourself and go through it. It's pretty simple. Where it says name, put in a name. Where it says social security number, put in a social security number. Now the questions you should be asking your mentor is if there's something else, an extenuating situation that you're not, that you're not used to. For instance, well, hey, listen, Philip, I wrote an application. My client wants to leave the money to their kids, but their kids are only 3. And so they're not old enough, so what do I do? Oh, okay, what you need to do is ask them who would take care of their kids if something adult. Okay, that's going to be their brother Joe. Okay, then you put Joe's name down, and next to that you put ITF, which stands for In Trust For, and then the children's names, or the children, all the natural born children of this person, the children of this marriage, or what have you. Those are little things that you can go to your mentor for, but those are also things that you can call sales support for. So you've got to be prepared, folks. You've got to be trained. You have to at least, okay? And again, you've got to go through the role playing. Don't sit back waiting on your mentor or your leader, your manager, to take you out and hold you by the hand and take you on an appointment. That's not their job. Their job is to make sure you're prepared for that appointment. But I can tell you, don't wait for someone to take you on an appointment and show you what to do to go do it. All you have to do is get in front of them. I can tell you what, I am more impressed if somebody calls me. When Wesley picks up the phone and he calls me on a Thursday night, he goes, hey, Robert, this is Wesley, and I'm sitting in front of Mr. Polar right now. And here's the situation. We've gone over it. He has a mortgage and this amount, this amount, this amount. This is what we need to do. I need a little direction as to which product you think would be better, which company in this particular situation, because he has type 2 diabetes, and he got it when he was 55 years old. Okay, now that tells me, okay, Wesley's in the game. Wesley wants to win. Wesley is ready for me to say, okay, buddy, listen, here's the 2 or 3 companies that you can go with. I would recommend this one, and this is what you need to make sure you have, okay, blah, blah, blah. And that way I can coach him to success. I can't coach him to success if he's not moving. It's hard for me to tell a quarterback how to throw a touchdown if the quarterback is sitting in his easy chair at home playing video games. So, you've got to give yourself something to be successful with, okay? Now that you're prepared, you've got your training, you've got your vision, you know how much you want to make, you understand, what you got to kind of focus on in your mind, on a day-to-day basis to keep, keep the demons away so that you keep going in your business. Now what? Well, folks, the next thing you got to do is you've got to create momentum. You have to give yourself a chance to take off. As I said before with the example, planes don't leave the ground taxiing, from the gate. They don't leave the ground at taxiing speed, 25, 30, 40 miles an hour. It's not until they get some critical momentum. They fire the motors up at 100%, they let go of the brake, and they just barrel down the runway with the flaps at the right level, pulled back, and they yank back on the yoke once they hit takeoff speed and the plane launches in the air. And that's what you have to do. So now you've got to decide, okay, how am I going to create momentum? Okay, I can promise you this, folks. 1 appointment a week is not momentum. 1 appointment a week is more like boarding a plane, okay? So, you've got to give yourself something. If you're part-time, I'd say you're going to need at least 3 or 4 appointments a week. I don't even know what your monetary goal is, but in order to create momentum to get you to that, you've got to have activity. So you need to understand, what it's going to take in order for you to get that kind of activity to meet your financial goals. And if you don't know what that takes, that's where you sit down with your leader and your mentor and you say, listen, I need to make $10,000 a month. Okay, I've broken it down. That's obviously $2,500 per week. But what do I do now? How many appointments is that? And how do I get them? What do I need to do? Well, you've got a couple of things you can do. We have leads. True enough, we have leads, and you can go buy leads. All right? And, but leads are not always going to be available. Leads are not always going to be plentiful. What we can do as a company, we can tell you for certain how much mail we can send out, and we can mail till the cows come home. What we cannot do for you is tell you and promise you when that lead is going to come back in. We can predict based on averages approximately how many leads should come back from a mailing, but I can tell you it's only as good as the person that opens up the mailbox, fills out the letter, and sends it in. Sometimes they wait months to send that letter in because a lot of them just moved into a home and they're inundated with mail. And so they just push anything aside that looks like junk mail until a later time. Okay, so if that's not where you're going to start, if you don't have money, some people say, I don't have any money to buy leads. Folks, we've got leads that you can buy for $1. We've got cheaper leads. I mean, there's tons of leads out there that we can help you with that may be older leads. And I don't remember if they're truly $1 or not, so don't hold me to that price. Don't say Robert Wallace said leads are $1. Okay, but we do have B leads that are cheaper leads that may or may not have been sold, that are maybe a year, 2, 5, 10, 15, 20 years old. I don't care how old they are. It's more opportunities that you can put in your hand than you have today. But if you're not going, if you don't have the money, and if your leader doesn't have leads that they bought that they weren't able to close or able to see that they can just put in your hands and say, call this one and see what happens, then you know what, you're going to have to work your warm market. Okay, and for some of us, you know, we've done this before. We've talked to our friends and our family, and we have no friends and family left. Well, guess what? You know what? Go back to them anyway. You're going to have to get out of your own way. You're going to have to make sure that you go forward and that you put down a list of names. And I would say, you know what? Just go through your phone, put everybody on paper. Don't just leave it in your phone because you'll never get through it. Take the time to write down every single person that's in your phone, their phone number, how you know them, how long you've known them, what you know about them. Okay? Jog your own memory. And then start calling those folks and figure out your elevator pitch as to what you're going to say. Practice it with your leader, and make sure that you know exactly how you're going to get back in front of these people with yet another thing, but at least the last thing that's going to really make an impact in their life, and let them know, you know what, hey, yep, I started my own business. What? No, see, you don't say I joined another company or I started doing this thing. I've started my own business and I need your help. Allison, I've started my own business. I need your help. Well, what is it? You know what? I tell you what, I'd love to show you. Can you give me 15 minutes of your time Thursday night? It won't be a waste of your time. It may not be for you what I'm selling, my new product that I believe in, but I guarantee you there's at least 10 people in your lives that you know without even looking at your phone that need what I have. At least 10. Probably 6 out of every 10 for sure. Okay, so you have to figure out how you're going to, you know, get yourself in front of it, and then from there, once you have something, you know, whether it's leads or whether it's you know, warm market, now you need to figure out how many of those you're going to need to close on a weekly basis or a daily basis or a monthly basis in order for you to achieve your goal of remaining in business and to create your income goals. I will tell you guys this, and I want everybody to write this down because, see, this is the difference between owning a business and joining a thing, all right? The number one rule of business is to stay in business. The number one rule of business is to be here 1 year from now still in business and prospering. Whether you're a personal producer, which is absolutely fine. We've got that path here. If all you want to do is go out and take care of you and your household, that is absolutely fine. That doesn't mean that you can't come to the weekly meetings, because you need to come to the weekly sales meetings so that you can talk about your production and stand up and maybe inspire somebody else that needs to hear your story and what you've done. Or if you're an agency manager, then you need to be there to make sure that you know what it is that fits into that goal as well, folks, and you know, and work together. So, you know, now that you've done that, you've got to figure out how many appointments it is. You've got to know how many closes it's going to take. What does that take? It takes talking to your leader. It takes talking to somebody who's been down that road before. If your leader has never worked leads before, you know, then you need to ask who it is that you can talk to that can give you some guidance, that can kind of tell you approximately what it's going to take for you to make X amount of money or whatever it is. Once you get that done, folks, you've got to commit, get on the phone, set the appointments, and you don't stop setting until you have the number of appointments you need this week, next week, the week after, and the week after, and the week after, and the week after, and you have to stay on that and stay focused because this is now your business. This is what you're doing, and that's the way you go and do what you do. So you've got to make sure that you have the appointments set up and make sure that you know every week how many it's going to take and that you hit your numbers, okay? And failure can't be an option for you. You can't go, oh, well, you know, I only hit 8, I needed 15, you know, that's good, you know, it'll be all right. No, folks, you've got to see I need an additional 7 appointments on top of the 15 that I needed last week so that I hit my numbers, so I stay in my pitches. Okay, so that's what you got to do. And then once you've got the momentum, once you're setting the appointments, and once you're out there and you're closing, you know, and I can tell you, for those of you that are brand new, you know, you've never done an appointment before, you're a little nervous, that's okay. Go out and screw it up. Go out and mess it up horribly. Pick up the phone from the house before you leave, not with an application in your hand or enter it into the system, and talk to your leader and see and make sure you didn't leave something uncovered. Okay, but once you've done that and you've created the momentum, you're getting out there, you're seeing clients, you know, you're getting things going, you've got to review the results of your activity. Okay, figure out what it is that you're getting and how it relates to what you want to have. Are you on course? Are you on target, on average, to make the money that you want to make? You probably aren't in the beginning, but after a few weeks, 4, 6, 8, maybe 12, you know, by then you should start to feel, okay, I've got this, all right, I'm getting it. And your numbers should start to average or even surpass what it's going to take for you to make what it is that you say you want to make. So you review those results. If you're an agency manager or a leader like a Denny Faircloth who wants to make, you know, more than just, you know, what they can do on their own pen, you have to look at, okay, all right, what am I doing on my own and what's my agency doing, okay? Do I have enough people that are consistent, that are helping me reach my goals because I'm helping them reach their goals? If not, if you're helping people make their goals, you're doing everything, you know, you're coaching them, you're doing those things that are necessary, some are working this week, some aren't, whatever it is, then that just tells you I've got to recruit more. I have to get out there and recruit and hire more agents so that I can reach the goal that I want to. You can't force someone else to do more than they're going to do. So once you get them up and going and you see that they've hit their watermark, start recruiting again, start hiring again, start mentoring, and start the process all over again, because the name of this game is cash flow, okay? The name of this game is cash flow. In order to get in the business, in order to stay in the business, in order to be successful, we all need cash flow. Zero cash flow means I'm off to the next thing. I wasted my time. I wasted money, I wasted my leader's time in getting the license and doing all the things that I did because I didn't put one foot in front of the other. So folks, you've got to cash flow, okay? You've got to cash flow. And I can tell you this, we have some tremendous carriers and we have some tremendous products. Folks, I'm going to tell you, starting out in business, you know, I've seen and talked to a lot of people that are writing different types of products all over the board, and that's okay. But I also hear people saying, I'm not getting paid. I'm not getting paid fast enough. And one of the reasons that they're not getting paid fast enough is they're not writing the right products. So one of the things I want to talk to you guys about is keeping it simple. I'm going to call it a simplified focus. Keeping it simple. We've all heard of KISS. Keep it simple, superstar, right? I'm not going to say stupid. It's superstar. Keep it simple, superstar. Focus on the simplified products. Each and every one of our carriers has a simplified product. Why is it called simplified? Well, the carriers say it's simplified because they don't have to go through a fully underwritten medical examination, APS, the whole 9 yards. But why is it simple for you? Because you submit the application, and if you follow the guidelines for what's acceptable for that application, it's going to get issued generally within 48 to 72 hours of you submitting that application. It means you're also going to make money faster. Okay, and I want you guys to make sure you write these down. If you don't hear, you know, if you don't get them, hopefully you can get back on and listen to the recording later. But folks, I'm going to tell you, different carriers have different simplified products. And here's a clue as well. You also make more money on the simplified products. Most of the underwritten products, and some of the simplified even, have lower compensation. That's okay. If it meets your client's needs and that's what you have to do, then do it. But if you can meet your client's needs going the simplified route, that's the way you need to go. And I'll close it at the end with a little bit of a story to kind of underscore this. I'm going to use a real story from a real producer that just happened here within the last couple of weeks. All right, but first of all, Mutual of Omaha, an incredible company. You can do their application for most of their products completely online, whether you're in front of the customer or over the telephone. I like doing it in front of the customer. You turn your computer around, They sign an electronic signature and you're done. You can't screw the application up. It won't go through if you don't have everything completed on it. But Mutual of Omaha wants you to make sure you're focused on Term Life Express and Whole Life Living Promise. Okay, their Living Promise. It's a whole life product, and Term Life Express. Those are two simplified products that you make incredible money on, and in general, they go through very, very quickly. Okay, they issue quickly, generally 48 hours on average. If it's approved on a Tuesday, folks, get this. If it's approved on a Tuesday, you get paid on Thursday, or the very next day if it happens early enough in the day. And I've seen that happen many times. So there you go. There's two products there in Mutual of Omaha to focus on. And again, I'm not saying you can't write other companies and other products, but the ones that I'm giving you right now, we talked about success leaving clues. Folks, when we got in this business, Philip Hudgens will tell you that Ralph Simpson, Michelle, and I, personally as producers and as managers, taught people how to cash flow very, very quickly. Okay, so Mutual of Omaha, Term Life Express, and Living Promise. At Americo, Americo has an incredible IUL that is a simplified IUL. I've written it before in the past, okay? I can tell you that it will issue. It's called LifeCrest SI. It's a simplified issue LifeCrest product, okay? They also have their HMS series, okay? So any of the HMS products that you see that we're appointed with, you know, it's the 125 with cashback option. It has accidental deaths built in, folks. Those products are designed to issue quickly and pay quickly, okay? At American Amicable, one of my other favorites, okay, Home Protector is their simplified issue product. They also have some other things that we can write. We're sorting all that out for you guys, but they have some other things that are there that have great compensation for you, the producer, as well as the company. And folks, they issue, and that's the name of the game, is getting your client issued. So at American Amicable, learn Home Protector. It does require a mortgage, but the only requirement is that they've done a mortgage. They don't care if the mortgage was 30 years ago. They qualify as long as they have a mortgage. Okay, so you have those, and we've got some other products that we'll be talking about with American Amicable that I can tell you the comp is a little bit lower. Okay, to you as a producer, it's not the same level, it's not the same amount of money that your contract level is, but they have some other great products that will issue that will go up to the age of 75 and up to $400,000 in face amount. So when you're in with an older couple and they have insurance needs, but they don't have, you know, big money for an IUL, then there's still something that you'll be able to do to help them out. And then last but not least, folks, we have our brand new company, Manhattan Life, okay? And really, folks, I'm telling you, I've talked to different people in the industry that I've known for quite a while that are very, very familiar with Manhattan Life, that have been writing it in this country, as well as other countries, Honduras and places of that nature, that they have a footprint. And I can tell you that when I tell these folks that we have Manhattan Life, every last one of them is like, man, I don't know if you realize what you have in your hands there, but that's a great company, and their products are designed to issue. I've got folks that are really looking at coming on board with us because of the value proposition that we offer, as well as the fact that we have that product, because they work in a large immigrant market where a lot of them only have ITINs. So at Manhattan Life, you need to focus on Viva Life, Viva Professional, and Viva Family. Okay. Now there will be from time to time bulletins that are going to come out, and I'm just going to say this: I'm not here to step on anybody's toes. I'm not here to say, oh, well, your leader's wrong, don't write that. But what I am here to tell you folks is this: I want to see you get paid. I don't want to see you write a product that maybe you're not ready to write because it's too sophisticated. There's too many different variables. I like simple. Okay, I'm a simple-minded person in terms of business and what we do. If I have to do a lot of educating for the client to understand it, then that means I'm going to have to do a lot of follow-up educating to make sure the client keeps it. But if I can keep it simple, if I can make it simple, they understand what it is. If I can get it in their hands because it's not overly priced, overly burdensome to them on a monthly basis, and I haven't had to help them figure out how to afford it, it's simple, it's simplified, it's quick money for everybody, and you stay in business. So I'm here to tell you folks, again, we've been successful. I'm not bragging. Philip always says it ain't bragging if you've done it, okay? We've made a lot of money in this industry, and we want to see you do the same thing and prosper, okay? Because in this case, making a lot of money also equals that you've helped a lot of people protect what's important to them, and you're helping a lot of other people, hopefully as a manager and mentor, you know, on the income side of things, do the same thing that you're doing. So, you know, the whole point of this call today, folks, is to make sure that you understand a roadmap to get in business, to get your business off the ground and off the ground quickly and stay in business. If you will learn the products that we talked about, if you'll take, you know, the nuggets that we've given in a very short period of time, and we've done it in a very rapid fire situation because we only had, you know, 1 hour to keep your attention, you know, make sure that you take what we've put out here today, put it into play. Okay, make sure that you give yourself the opportunity to be successful in business and successful in life, because that's the Envita way. Okay, we are here to help you be successful. We are here to give you those tools to help you get off the ground and get off the ground quickly. If you will learn the products that we talked about, if you will utilize those products to get yourself in the business, get used to it, learn, understand what insurance is and how it works. You know, we will train you. I can tell you that Philip and Michelle are putting together a brand new training for the IULs to help you guys understand how to write them the proper way, so that, number one, the client is happy, and then number two, the client gets the results that the client was looking for. And what we think we're going to do is help you guys get off the ground and get making money and get cash flowing, and then you'll earn an opportunity to come and sit two of the industry's greatest people, Philip and Michelle, and possibly some others, maybe even the carriers, and learn how to truly write those policies so that they go through underwriting, they pass suitability, the client is happy, and you make money. Now, here's an example real quick before I close that this just happened. You know, I was talking to a producer here in the Dallas area. She's fairly new. She went out, she wrote business, okay? And the client was flipped to fully underwritten because of something that came back in a paramed. Okay, the client had not gone to the doctor in a while, you know, didn't see a doctor regularly, and when the paramed came, they took her blood, they took her urine, they took her heart, her height, her weight, did all the stuff that they do, stab and jab like I call it, okay? It went through underwriting, and it was flat out declined. Now, the woman looked like the picture of health, okay? Now, this is kind of a double-edged sword because, you know, the producer, you know, by having them go fully underwritten, helped her understand that there was a medical condition because she found out that she was having some elevated things in her blood with her kidneys, and she was having she found out that she was an untreated, undiagnosed diabetic. Her numbers were off the chart, so she was declined. You know, she was told she needs to go see her doctor immediately, which it probably helped save her life. It may have at least helped her maintain some quality of life if they caught it soon enough. But had the person gone through simplified issue, there was nothing out there that showed that she was aware that there was a problem. So she would have been issued, she would have had the insurance that she needed, you know, for the client. The agent would have made money to stay in business and not be frustrated wondering why their policy didn't go through, which, you know, there's no fun anytime, but especially when you're new and you're excited and then you submit something and it comes back declined. That's kind of that's a bum deal. You know, that's a bummer. It's going to ruin your day for a while. You're going to question yourself and wonder, oh my gosh, I'm not good at this, when it wasn't anything that you did. Okay, so put them through the simplified. Do them and you a favor. Get them covered. If you have a client that says, well, I haven't been to the doctor in 3 years. Okay, great. We're going to get you covered because, you know, I'm not going to put you through a fully underwritten because I'll tell you what, you don't want to find out something's wrong with you in the course of trying to get your life insurance. Okay. That's not when you want to find out, because you'll get declined and there'll be a period of time that no one will insure you until you can prove that you've got whatever it is under control. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and get you covered. You do need to make an appointment to go see your doctor, okay, as soon as possible to make sure you are okay, okay, because the insurance company will cover you. They'll take care of it. As long as you don't know that there's something wrong with you, as long as you didn't believe that there was something wrong with you, you're okay, all right? So we can get you covered, and that's what my is today, is to help you protect your family, okay? And I will stay on you over the next 3 or 4 months to make sure you do go to the doctor. So there you go, folks. That's a quick rapid-fire succession of how to get your business off the ground quickly to get to the point where you can make $10,000 a month, $10,000 a week, $100,000 a month, whatever your level of play is. That's some of the key nuts and bolts of what you need to do. There are more, many more that we could come up with that we can talk to you guys about. But in short, over the last hour, you've been given the number one clue. The number one thing is to get your mind right. Prepare the soil. Okay, get that stuff done. Then go through with the points that I left with you, making sure that you yourself are ready to go and that you've given yourself at least the basic tools to be successful and off the ground quickly. Folks, our time is... Oh, go ahead, babe.
Actually, real quick, I have a quick announcement I needed to make too, real quick. Again, don't forget, if you have meetings, opportunity meetings going on in your area, make sure you are there. I know here in Dallas, you have the opportunity to meet again with Philip Hudgens and Tim, and be able to actually get your people in front of them to talk about what this opportunity is. Grow your business every day, every week. Make sure you have others helping support that. That's part of what we're talking about. I know Houston has things happening. I believe California has some things happening. We have things moving and going. If it doesn't have something going in your area, you be the one to make the choice and decision. Whether it's just you and one other person having an appointment, get started. Get started on your business, launching and building the way you want to. Also, one quick thing, we started the Women of Purpose with Envita, and had a few people be able to get started with that last week. It was awesome. I'm excited for more and more women to rise to the top in this industry. We are the dominant majority. We need to make sure we're also being the dominant majority in the income opportunities. So if you didn't get a chance to be part of that, I want to welcome all of you to be able to be part of it. We're going to find some ways to grow and launch that in many areas at many times. So again, thank you guys for taking
Michelle, one other thing, folks, if you liked the training, if you liked today's call, which hopefully you have, it looks like we've actually, more and more people have logged in throughout, so that meant that leaders were texting and calling their people saying, hey, you need to get on this call, this is awesome. Folks, if you want more training, if you want more how to be successful, if you have not already registered for the leadership conference that's in July, you need to go online to the Envita FN website right now. Buy your ticket, buy a ticket for the people that were not on the call that are on your team. Make them buy it from you. Make sure that they have their hind ends in the seat, folks, because this isn't just going to be, you know, a couple of days of patting on the back and fluff, folks. This is going to be some in-depth, detailed training to help you be successful. Bring your Tylenol with you, because you will have so much information crammed in your head. You will get a headache. It'll be a good headache, but you will get a headache. So be there or be sorry, folks. We can't be both. All right.
Thank you, guys. We'll have time with you here again soon, and we just appreciate each and every one of you going out there and making the best of this opportunity for you.